College COD is back. It's the off season. It's tourney time yet again. An alumni tournament for $1,000. Yes, that's right. All those old people who are finally coming back to College COD yet again to have some fun here for $1,000. My name is Cormier. With me is Proper Cass. Andy, it's great to be back on the mic with you, brother.
Oh man, why did they allow this to happen, Alex? We're back on air here for CCL, the first time ever since we were at LAN, and they let us cast together. Something's not right up there in the upper department for CCL. It's gonna be back, man. Honestly speaking, it's fantastic to be able to see this entire tournament be put on from the College COD League. As you say, a lot of the old heads coming back, being able to pick back up the sticks and go up against some of those new gunners.
Absolutely. Now, there's only one downfall and slight side to this entire event. It's that we're playing Modern Warfare 2. I know. We went an entire year playing Modern Warfare 2, and now we're back here again. No, I'm kidding. But it is going to be fun. We do have quite the stacked sort of rosters inside of this event as well. Kind of excited for. Again, you know, maybe not some of the most bright and colorful names that you'll remember, but hopefully you'll remember some of the alumni that used to play in previous seasons of College COD. Obviously, that beautiful, you know, little promo video that we had for us, taking us all the way back to season 0 of the CCL, which I wasn't there for. Andy, you were. So I mean, you're gonna have a field day with some of these guys, I'm sure.
Yeah, speaking of old heads, I mean, I've been here for a hot minute, man. I mean, ever since like the end of the BO4 era, there's a lot of names that come to mind. There's a lot of teams that do come to mind. Obviously, when we start going through all these different groups, when we start taking a lot of these rosters at hand, we'll be able to give you a deep dive into the last college that they played with, maybe potential for some acolytes that come along with said teams. But here are your groups. It's going to be 4 teams per Group A and Group B. Some notable names that obviously do jump off of the page. At least for me, I mean, you do end up having a good old razzle-dazzle. God, I miss saying that name every single week for the College COD League. But out of all these groups, again, your goal is to be in that first place spot. Damn near got to play flawless.
Yeah, next couple groups are going to have teams of 3. Team Noisy, though, I think kind of pops out at you on this Group C list here.
A little bit.
If you're wondering on who's on that team, well, maybe a couple names might ring a bell. Fame, Bink, Dan Ghosty, and of course, you know, Team Captain Noisy there. That brings me back to our Cold War days where we had Noisy Airlines. Rest in peace, checkmate gone, but forever remembered in our hearts, and especially Noisy, as he was one of the best that College COD has ever been able to produce. But Dan Ghosty on that roster, obviously Optic native, no longer though. But of course, CDL alumni, regardless. He is one astute and sexy, handsome man, and I can't wait to watch him play today.
Yeah, I mean, like, Steve Gartman as well. Like, we got Papa Stents picking up back
man.
the sticks. The last time that I casted Stents in Call of Duty, he found a 5-man grab slam, and it was epic. Obviously, that can't happen here because we're playing Modern Warfare 2, but nonetheless, it's going to be awesome to be able to see how a lot of these teams do stack up against each other. Obviously, you have a lot of different teams with a lot more experience. You have a lot of teams with a lot more gun skill, but here are 2 more groups for you, Group E and Group F. Some other names that obviously jump off of the page. The team from Millsy comes to mind, Team Nate Fiasco, Slow-Mo as well. Some teams and some players that have missed out on some championship matchups. Going to be able to get the salty run back here in the offseason.
Yeah, look, I mean, there's a sneaker team down there at the bottom, though. Team Priestley, a stud himself, but really that St. Clair roster that hasn't really made the ways that we'd hoped they were going to make, especially this previous season of the CCL in the Modern Warfare 2 year. Gets a chance to run it back, even though it's not for the big shebang. At least it's for something here, maybe a bit of pride.
Just a little bit of pride, yeah. I mean, $1,000, the pride. Honestly speaking, I mean, it all ends up coming out at the end of the year, and hold your head held high, depending if you can even make it to the double elimination bracket later on tonight and even tomorrow. Here are your last 2 groups, Group G and Group H. A lot of different teams. Gramley Records, Diff inside of Group G. And then Group H will have Lightify, Quantank, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. It's just way too many consonants, brother.
Let's Walker P, maybe Walk RP. I don't know. Maybe I've been in the city too much.
Use some vowels in your name.
But you know, here's the thing, right? You know, this is the interesting aspect of this tournament, right? You know, having all these different groups. Despite having 8 groups, only 1 team out of each of these groups is going to make it through. And I kind of feel bad for groups A and B if you got the poor luck of the draw there. not being able to only have 3 teams, and it's going to be a bit more difficult to make it out of your group. And don't even ask me how ties are going to go. We discussed that pre-show. We're not sure yet. Ask Son of Pain. LOL. Omega lol. But as things go forward here, the bracket that's going to be starting at least later on in the broadcast today and then taking place for the rest of Sunday tomorrow. I do think that this is going to allow for some fun and exciting matchups here in day one. Usually we have a lot of times where, we see day one of a tourney kind of be a snooze fest, just kind of 3-0s across the board, and it's not really the matchups we were hoping to see. I think today's going to be quite a stark contrast to that, which should at least allow us to have some excitement in the early stages of today and the latter stages of the broadcast as we get into the first stages of the bracket as well.
Strap yourself in, get some water, get some popcorn, because, Corn and Proper, we're going to take you through the show and all of the action as well. Because, we're sitting here, we're having a little bit of a chuckle fest about it as well. Most of the times whenever we doing these college COD broadcasts, you guys have seen it through the regular season. It always ends up going like stats, who's better at this map comparatively to this other team in that specific group. We don't have none of that. Nothing. So we're going to end up just having the narratives write themselves. We're going to end up giving you a lot of the storylines as they produce themselves throughout the entirety of the day. Some hearts will be broken. Some will honestly grow 3 times the size. All starts off with this one first opening match here for Granley versus Team Diff, Corn.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll start to take a look here at Team Granley and the roster that they're going to be sporting inside of this wonderful event. Granley, crazy. Wheels in minty, Florida Gulf Coast alumni here in a beautiful way, representing beautiful Southwest Florida. Of course, my home and my residence at Current. I just doxed myself, LOL. But, it's cool. I know a couple of these guys, have met them. Awesome people, cool to hang around. But again, their heyday that wasn't able to really see the light of day in recent years might be able to make some early round upset noise inside of this bracket.
Yeah. What happened to Kirch, man? Where you at, Josh? What happened? Guy got turned on in the gulag. He can't even come back and play with his old team. That's crazy. But, hey, I got to actually meet both Crazy and Wheels when they actually came up to Charlotte for a local collegiate LAN. And honestly speaking, in between both Crazy and Wheels, we got to see it even last year during the CCL Warzone tournament throughout the entirety of the regular season as well for FGCU. Those guys are nuts. So, Granley and Minty, they are in some welcoming arms here for this FGCU alumni roster.
Take a look on the opposite side of things. For Team Diff, 3 players from Newberry Esports and 1 Red Chase from UT Chattanooga. Got to see not too much of Red Chase this season on that UT COD roster, but I do think that from Mox COD, when Red Chase did make that switch over from Concord, he brought a good bit of veteranship to that team. He definitely helped out with that tandemship that he had with Click, but that roster didn't really have all the umph towards the end of the season. They were able to make a semi-deep push in the playoffs, but weren't able to make it all that much further past that. Much of that heyday was on that Concord roster when you think of Andrew Crooked or, of course, Jamie Megatron. But I think playing with this roster of KB, Freak, and Diff, all these guys coming from that Newberry Esports side of things, it's going to provide a new outlook. It's going to be a fresh scene, and this is a roster that, again, much like this Team Granley roster, has potential to make it out of this group.
Yeah, shout out Newberry's alumni, just adopting Red Chase. This guy just jumps ships, doesn't he? He obviously having a really good deep run as far as that Modern Warfare 2019 run is concerned. Had the bracket reset versus that Texas A&M Maroon roster. None of us ended up seeing that coming, that they were even going to be able to take maps, let alone a best of 5. But Red Chase was pretty integral to all of that, just kind of to coin that phrase that you were end up talking about. So Diff, KB, and Freak, they do have a really nice flexible player along with them. For Red Chase, he can play that main AR. He can pick up the submachine gun of what we got to see on that UT Chattanooga roster through a handful of years now. Honestly speaking, as you were saying there, brother, both of these teams can honestly make a deep run, but you got to win here because, again, you got to play damn near flawlessly. Again, you got to win your groups if you want to see that double Elam bracket.
Yeah, and the thing is with both of these guys coming out of a group that has a few less teams in it, really what you got to kind of look at is, if you go 1-1, you're probably done. If you go 2-0, obviously you're going to make it through. But if you lose even one match, of course, as you were kind of alluding to already, it's going to be difficult to be able to climb out of that hole that you've built for yourself. We'll take a look at our map set here. 5 maps inside of this best of 5 series. Everything is going to be best of 5s here through the first part of groups and into the bracket stage. We'll start with a hotel, or excuse me, a hard point on hotel. We'll go to a search and destroy for El Cielo. Hotel control for map 3, a fortress hard point if necessary. And then to round things off in a map 5, a hotel search and destroy. A map set that is quite canny to what we've seen all year from Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah, kind of upset we didn't get that triple stack of hotel to start things off. Honestly, would have brought me all the way back to champs, brother. I mean, why didn't we get 3 hotels to start? Nonetheless, El Cielo Search and Destroy will be breaking up the monotony, but we still have 3 hotels within the best of 5 map set. And I think I can speak for all of us as far as production is concerned that we didn't get the expo control. Probably going to continue on that narrative through the entirety of the weekend. But, hey, I don't know what these 2 teams look like on either of these 2 maps, but all I can tell you is that Hotel's a good place to kind of duke it out and be able to see how everybody does stack up against each other against a very fundamentally strong map. Gonna be able to favor towards those rotations, not overextend too much. Play for money hills because, let's be candid, there's about 3 of them here.
Yeah, it seems like we're opting for familiarity here, opposed to trying to get creative and play to, potentially the opponent's necessary downfalls. It's more to everybody's strengths across the board. So as we were looking through the vetoes, we saw pretty much things to go about how we expected it to. The maps kind of dip out that we thought might not be maybe as strong for each of these teams necessarily. But as we get ready for a hotel hardpoint here on map 1, Team Granley, Team Diff trying to make themselves known inside of their group and move on to an undefeated stature early on inside of the College COD Alumni $1,000 tournament. Andy, it's been, I think, since Black Ops Cold War that it's been since we've been able to share a mic with one another. So it's going to get silly today. And I am just so excited to get to do this with you again.
Coordinate is bed, and it can only mean one thing. We are ready to go for a CCL tournament, baby. Let's get it on. Team Granley versus Team Diff.
First one out towards the point wheels. On the board first here for Team Granley, but it's Team Diff who were able to get inside of P1 early on. You can see the pinch now starting to develop here for Team Granley as Crazy tries to go on, but Freaky 2 Shiesty is going to be able to find one as Red Chase pairs for a second as well. So 35 seconds left on this hill. Rotation over to P2, the next one, and knocking on the door here in just a moment.
Yep, still a lot of time left to fight over. So, I mean, if you are Team Granley, you kind of have to throw a couple lives inside of the Atrium, try to battle for some of this time. KB's taking this as an opportunity to kind of press a little bit further forward, and that breaks up the monotony of the spawns. Wheel spawns out, and that only means that Team Diff can not only be able to pressure out these spawns for P2, but they are soaking up more than enough time here on 1.
Yeah, it was a good gunfight, though. Win in the back by Crazy. Going to allow Team Granley to spawn at least a bit closer. Split spawns out, though, are going to allow a pinch play to start setting up. Team Diff needs to be aware that they're going to be hitting from both angles. Diff on 4 in a row. Snaps one in the backside spawn. Clears out his time. Now as Diff looks back to the staircase here, Freaky 2 Shiesty once again pops a double and allows Team Diff to stay on top of the kill feed.
And nobody cleared out back spa, though, so Minty's allowed to not only stay alive, but he's also able to anchor out a couple spawns. He's getting the reads out from spa, but his teammates are coming up a little bit short inside of the front here on P2. Minty needs to go big once again. He's able to find one. Crazy's going to be able to be there to at least clean up a few more. Very scrappy P2, and that only favors the team in red as they build their lead even more so.
Finally a good break, but still Freaky going to be here on the inside. As Minty goes for some shots over the top, we'll finally be able to connect. 20 seconds left of the scrap time here. Team Granley still trying to fight Team Diff here as well, but you have to look to the other side of the map where Granley now on a 1 versus 1 with KB, who's still on the outside waiting to push on in. First shot's going to be good. Granley tries to snap, but KB puts him in the dirt. Kitchen locked down for Team Diff and the rotation secured.
You still have Minty in towards the back, and you can't allow to have what happened over by P2 happen over by P3, albeit it's been a very successful opening first 2 hills for Team Diff. They're looking to have that continuation here inside of P3. It's Freaky 2 Shiesty. He's getting a little dirty in towards the back here over by the parking lot. Able to find himself up on 3 in a row. As number 4 if he wants it. The Ego Chow comes out for Granley. Sure, why not? Team Diff are about to be over 100 points.
First the double digits. Now triple digits here for Team Diff. 102 to 11. Team Granley not really able to find their footing here inside of Hotel in map 1. Another couple of kills go the way of Team Diff. Red now floods as KB's up to 4 in a row. Everybody on Team Diff pretty much starting to streak on out. Granley all the way across the map. KB there now chasing too. He's about to go ahead and earn himself some streaks. Utility in the back pocket potentially here. But on the rotation, Team Granley will finally win a few clutch gunfights. This might be where they can start accruing some much needed time.
Freak too shy. Freak not finishing his food there. KB's going to be able to get himself that 6 free, might not make it 8. Someone trade this man for crying out loud. 11-3. 10-7 for Freak too shy. Wheels is at least trying to find that trade, unsuccessful in doing so. You still have numbers on this side of the map. You just got to win the gunfights, which seems a little bit more difficult than it needs to be. Minty's going to be able to at least find 2 that keeps the hardpoint neutral, but Team Granley do have the spawns.
Well, I'll say this, you know, there's one thing that's not going to necessarily equate to a lot of time. It's being 1-11 at this stage in the game. You know, you never want to put a spotlight on one player when they're struggling, okay? But, you know, 1-11, maybe not 1-12. Okay, maybe it's time to get a few kills on the board. That's all I gotta say.
You're not wrong. Like, I don't know, were you expecting a dispute out of me? I mean, Red Chase just found himself up on a 6 free. He's 9-2. All of Team Diff have yet to reach double-digit deaths. And it's about to be 172-12. And the rotation over towards new needs to be a good one for Team Granley. Look, if there's any point in time in the first set of rotations to start accruing some really solid time, it has to start here and now.
It absolutely does. But it's not looking like highway robbery right now. As from Jewelry side, Team Diff are starting to make the push. Freak going to be able to open up with one. The second one goes his way as well. Minty will fall to the hands of Diff. And now Wheels the last one here for Team Granley. Shots good. Headshot is in. And time now still falling in the way of Blue. But with 45 seconds still left. And Team Diff just around the corner. Gunfight still going the way of Red in the kill feed. Trades back and forth. It's a double that goes each side.
Yeah, good reads on the split spawn actually coming through from the team in Blue. Especially with Granley trying to anchor out over by Kitchen. Yeah, 2 and 14, not the sexiest KD ratio, but that kill was influential nonetheless. Team Granley going to be able to soak up the rest of this time. Cruise Missile was also invested for Team Diff to try to collapse on this break. They were able to at least find themselves in eventually. And all the scrap time, every single second, is just another dagger in towards the back of the team in Blue.
Oh, look, this is starting to look like a McCornmeal and co inside of the Zoo Mafia Cold War League. Getting out of hand pretty quickly. I'm talking us on the losing side of things. Not looking great here for Team Granley. But, you know, P6 is popped. The sunshine potentially starting to peer its way through the clouds. As these last 2 hills have started to get at least some decent time for Team Granley. Team Diff has been slowed down in the killing column, at least for a moment. I guess you can call slowing down when you have Red Chase, KB, and Freak all not on 8 to 10 sprees combined. But it is what it is. Granley now up to 3, now making it 4. Still quad negative, but making his way in his presence felt just a touch more.
Yep. I mean, that was a good spree. All nonetheless, it still has to amount towards a break. And Team Granley just simply do not have the numbers. It's Team Diff that do have control on the west side of the map, which means that Team Granley effectively spawning in for P4. They have so much land to cut down as far as Greenberg Hotel is concerned. Minty again going to be able to find himself yet another 2-piece. It'll allow Granley to at least step inside of the hard point once again for albeit 2 seconds. It's not really going to amount to too much of anything, is it, Corn? Because at the end of the first set, Team Diff have themselves about a 150-point lead.
And they have themselves the rotation into P1 as well. And if they want to hold on here for the win, they absolutely can. Just got to win a few crucial gunfights out towards the front. However, Minty on the backside has different plans, and so does Wheel and Crazy, as they now make themselves, no, pinch hits. Kills are good. Team Diff now back to the spawn side, and Team Granley just trying to get to that triple-digit mark.
Just trying to make it respectable. I mean, like, you're going up against a core 3 plus Red Chase. Nobody's going to have fun here. No, I'm sorry. Granley's at least trying to turn his game around, trying to at least anchor out inside of the double archway. But, I mean, look, the team in red, they're playing this wisely. They have such a massive leader's advantage. They don't have to fight for the old time. They could just play for the rotation anew.
That's exactly what they'll do. Last time Team Granley had the rotations, they were broken out immediately. You saw Crazy, the only one left alive on the backside spawn. Team Diff were able to make quick work of it. Gunfight was won by Diff, and once again, it's the exact same set of circumstances this time, though, as the hill pops. You'll still have Wheels on the outside here, 4 in a row for himself. 21 and 20 now has worked his way up for Minty. Still the hill occupied now by Team Diff. 25 seconds is all that's needed for the team in red to be able to take map 1.
30, counting on up. Desperation setting in. Granley has to just gung-ho his way through Chandelier up to the 240 mark, and again, Team Diff have the anchors.
Looks like it might be over here. 10 seconds left. 2 players left now for Team Granley. Everybody cut down, knocked away. 5 seconds now for Team Diff as the foot race and a desperation hit now on from Team Granley, but as the last kill comes through, and no contestation is in, it's a 100-point club in map 1, and Team Diff will easily walk away with a 1-0 series lead.
I would say it's you know, a little bit more respectable than what it would look like at certain points in time, especially going in towards P4, but 100-point club nonetheless. So you know, it's just utter destruction coming through from Team Diff. Again, the team in red, 4-3 from Newberry plus Red Chase. You can see it just works out just so well, doesn't it? I mean, come on. Like 29 to 80 kills into the 24 that Red Chase found. Well, it honestly felt like until what? Like P2 in the second set of rotations, again, where the game just ended. That's where Red Chase finally got the double-digit deaths. I don't really know what analysis you want from me here, brother. I mean, all of Team Gravely just got slammed for that first set.
Look, I think the analysis would be better spent on talking about your 24 hours you spent at Spa yesterday, driving around that ring and iRacing, because that's about as much effort as we saw there from that Team Granley roster. And it's not, again, not to poke fun at them, but it is. Team Diff were just better throughout that first map. And look, I'll be completely honest. That map was about open and shut as it could possibly be here early on. There's not going to be much to highlight on this map except maybe a few streaks that Team Diff was able to go on respectively. But, I mean, really all it came down to was Team Diff being able to win that on those rotation battles, but the gunfights consistently going their way, and a 1-12, almost 1-14 start just simply doesn't help.
I mean, look, it just seems like the team in red either showed up, shot some bots, maybe played a couple rank lobbies. Their guns were just hot, brother. Like they just... There was an attempt for trades here and there. The head glitches were being held. There were no trades to even speak of whatsoever. And it just felt like when the gates opened, one horse was about halfway through the track and the other horse was just coming out of the bathroom stalls. It was just utter decimation coming through for Team Diff. Again, as these highlights will be an utter highlight reel for the team in red. Again, two pieces galore, streaks coming through. Red Chase had one, Diff had one. It just never really felt like that there was much point of contention until the end of the first set when we got to the rooftops. And that's just something you just do not want to see, especially where, you know, your opening match, every single match is just so dire. You cannot afford to start off with an L. Losing maps is one thing, but you got to be able to try to bounce back again in a best of 5. These stats will be quite telling. Minty was finding a continuous amount of two pieces to try to keep his team in it, but good golly, oh my, freak too shicey. About 3,100 damage, led the lobby, 14 assists as well, 23 and 17. Again, the one that jumps off the page for me, Red Chase had 2 minutes and 40 seconds worth of OBJ time. 15 of his 24 kills came from within the hard points as well. He went 24 and 11. For crying out loud, what's going on over here?
Yeah, Red Chase was a squatter in that first map. But inversely, you know, Team Grantley, hey, they're an S&D team, sure. I think that's what we'll brand them as. At least we'll hope that's the case to give them a bit more of hope in this series. Because if not, I feel like this is going to be a very quick 3-0, and we are going to have lied to the audience saying that, hey, we might have a more exciting first slate of matches here inside of the group stage. That map pretty much went according to business for Team Diff, sure, but now as we get ready for an LSELO search and destroy here, I think this is where the conversation can start to turn to what does Team Grantley need to go going forward. And I think rallying behind what Minty was able to do in that first map is going to be a huge step in the right direction. If he can start, you know, winning those gunfights, or at least being consistent as he was inside of map 1, you're going to be able to open the door up, especially on an LSELO map that plays a bit rattier with his AR, giving you some opportunities to open up some lanes. But the one thing I guess that didn't help so much in that hotel hardpoint, playing about 13 seconds of hill time that he was able to equate from those 21 kills or so that he had inside of that first map. So I think that the hot gun, obviously you have to turn to them as the kind of starting point to turning things back in high gear. But I don't think that Grantley is going to struggle as much as he did here in the second map as he did in map 1. I hope I didn't just jinx F.
I don't know, man. It's all speculation, right? Because, I mean, if there's one thing that you can honestly take away from that hotel map, number 1, going into a game mode like Search and Destroy, on a map like LSELO, it's one of those things where the manipulation of the map was just consistent for Team Diff, sure. And that's something that's really scary, especially for Team Grantley. Not to mention, I mean, the day-old strategy of Call of Duty's past of, hey, we're just better than you, we're going to run at you and gun you, can honestly come to play here in this map number 2, specifically for Team Diff, as they completely outslate their opponents by way too many kills. I'm not going to sit here and do math on stream, but nonetheless, it's one of those things that you just have to be very careful of, especially when it comes down to a game mode like LSELO Search and Destroy, and something you could probably turn on its head. Look, when it comes down to Search and Destroy, when you're able to recognize that the one team is just outwardly sprinting at you and gunning at you, you have two things in your back pocket when it comes to Call of Duty. You got to stun, You got a nade, Semtex, or a frag grenade, however you want to try to look at it. Utilize those to your best perfections. Maybe you can try to find where some of these rats are playing at and maybe walk away with a couple of good kills. Utilize your numbers. Maybe Team Grandly might be able to even up the series here.
You certainly hope so. Or else, again, as mentioned earlier, this feels like it is going to be a very quick series that is going to be open and shut. A 3-0 could be on the cards if Team Diff is able to go ahead and take this CCL search and destroy map number 2. We'll start things off here. POV of Grandly. On the left side, an offensive push here inside of Billiards. But look at Team Diff. Look how aggressive they're getting. KB's already going to be directly through the door. Red Chase will find a second to pair onto that first that he was able to grab. Already Team Grandly, 2 waxed off the board. The third one shortly will fall after. Last one alive is going to be Minty in a 1v3.
And he's got the sniper. He collects the bomb, and yeah, good luck, have fun, I guess. Can't see no chow from up top as well. He sees the glint from the sniper and still takes the chow. I mean, it's a Team Diff, brother.
That's Red Chase Diff.
Red Chase both?
Oh, Lord. All right.
Golly. I mean, there's opening round strategies, and then there's what the hell I just witnessed right there. I mean, he just sprinted down the middle of the map. There was no stuns at all from Team Grandly to stop him from doing that. What are we doing?
You know, only you and I are really going to understand this, but that was a Raptor play right there. That is open and shut. Exactly what that was. Just sprint down middle map and hope that you find a couple of kills, and then Red Chase's favor. Well, they were able to win 2 crucial gunfights there. But I mean, hell, Minty hadn't even left their spawn yet before everybody from Team Diff was already pushed up the map. That was a defensive hold from Team Diff. BT dubs. Crazy outside over by the radio tower. Going to look for an opening gunfight there. Some shots are going to ring out, but nothing's going to connect. KB, though, will be able to open doors up with 1. Freak 2 Shiesty will get a trade onto Wheels. So it's a 2-1 that goes in the favor of Team Diff, and once again, Team Grandly left in a 1v3.
Yeah, I mean, they're and sprinting around, flipping the map, winning gunfights, only losing 1 player along the way. Grandly, what we got here? No dead silence. Shots ringing all the way through. He has no idea who the enemy is. He has no idea where he is. He gets pinched from behind in lockers. It's a Team Diff once again.
How do you play LSCL Search and Destroy against a team that you waxed in map 1? Case in point, first 2 rounds, exactly this. You sprint up the map, you get in their faces, you knock them while they're down, and you don't allow them to have any sort of momentum on the map for themselves. When they don't have a chance to breathe, they don't have a chance to think, they don't have a chance to react, well, you're going to win rounds. Man, Team Diff doing yet. 3-0 start there from Red Chase and for Diff as well. 6 combined between the 2 of them in the first 2 rounds of Search and Destroy. KB and Freak just kind of carrying the load there towards the bottom side of things. Team Grandly, though, now on offense, trying to do the exact same thing that the Team Diff roster did to them. Wheels getting aggressive towards the radio side. KB already up and towards the top. Dead silence invested, but Minty will be watching for it this time. They play a bit more passive and are rewarded for it, at least preliminarily. 3 versus 4. Team Grandly in the offensive roster up on top.
And Red Chase just gets behind enemy lines. A little windy out here over on the offensive side, but still kill nonetheless. That silence is going to reset. Now he's able to hit up top. He knows that 1 player's still here. Yeah, why not? Now a 2v2.
Good trade. 1v1 gunfight. Red Chase now 3rd in the round. Up to 6 in a row. Already should have a streak here. But doesn't just
streaks,
yet.
By the way.
LOL. 1v2. Be behind 1. Dead silence was popped, but now runs out of it. Picks up a Vaznev to work with. Oh, Freak and Red Chase playing down towards the bottom of this A site. Wheels has bomb in hand. 30 seconds left. Needs to make a play.
That gun ornament, so bright and alarming. Like, I can't even look at the iron sights. It's just like taking up like a quarter of my screen. 20 seconds remain. Wheels, he's got the bomb. So I mean, the clutch is there. He gets the information on the first, but you're gonna expect for Red Chase to still be bomb kegs.
Shot's not gonna connect. Red Chase is there. I'm not sure who was able to walk away with that gunfight. I think it was Freak. But regardless, Red Chase was able to help out from behind. Not able to get the ace in the round because Freak stole it from him. Gotta thank bad teammate.
Honestly, if I'm Red Chase right there, like, I don't even try to shoot. Like, I just try to let Freak go down. I get that last kill. I get the cruise missile. I get the resource in my back pocket. Red Chase is 6-0.
You can put a blindfold on right now, by the way. Like,
dude. Red Chase with the sub on LSCL is sprinting at you. Team Grandly only have a total of 4 kills. I'm gonna take this as an opportunity, maybe try to play the entirety of this A lane. Nades to open things up. Red Chase still searching for the 7th kill and the cruise missile to beat.
Doesn't have dead silence to work with, so he's gonna have to play a bit slower up this alley lane over by B. First 2 kills go off each side. So 3 versus 3 with only about 25 seconds ticked off the clock. Wheels will give Team Granley the opposition advantage once again. As that bomb is now down in the spawn side of Team Diff. And you have Red Chase all the way across the map. He's going to get great timing yet again. Up to 7 in a row. Has yet to die here in the Search and Destroy and now makes it a 2v2.
And pretty much wherever you expect a player not to be is probably where Red Chase is at this point in time. Gets that sound. He's going to rip it. Already cleared the entirety of this side of the map. The biggest issue is that they have to somehow recover this bomb, but something tells me Red Chase Diff double stacked up together. Not going to really have much of an issue. Finds the first. Now it's up to Crazy in the 1v2.
And they got 25 seconds left, but they have the bomb, and they are hightailing it out of there. Could get around to A. Could wrap this all the way through the backside. Spawn out to B, but Crazy could get some great timing here if he spots Red Chase out the top window. Going to be able to find one. Does Diff spot out Crazy? Answer might be yes, but the bomb should go down here. 10 seconds left. Red Chase will get it down, and now Diff is going to be isolated into a 1 versus 1. Crazy going to be there. Red Chase now chasing for the backside. Was Diff or... Oh, who got it? Who got it? Who got it?
Had to have been Diff, right? With the drop shot? Like, come on, man. That sure was. I mean, if you're Crazy, like, maybe you thought you got some hit markers on the cross early on, and to be fair, Diff was red screen, so, like, he was quite literally a cold gust of wind away from death, but Red Chase obviously would have been there for the trade, who was yet to die, by the way. Zayn freaking 0. Someone trade this man.
Averaging 2 kills a round.
Casual.
We look to the opposite side. And as much as we love to admire and astonish at the fact that Red Chase is yet to die at 8-0, we have to go ahead and lament at the fact that Crazy still yet to get a kill on the board here in the Search and Destroy. Donut watch for Team Granley at the moment. Minty over behind the bar. Red Chase getting aggressive once again. Will finally find himself a demise. Minty will find 2. Freak, though, will be able to find himself 2. Doesn't spot out the 3rd. The bad timing in the FOV doesn't change. LOL. Diff now lasts alive in a 1v2.
That's how you know he's playing on, like, 55 FOV for sure.
Are you a console player?
Oh, come on. But you're probably right. That sound's going to get hit here by Diff. 4-1. All these sounds are going to be muffled. He's going to get the information the bomb is planted today, but there's 2 players playing inside the site. Finds the first.
First 1-1. Diff challenges back out over towards the left, but Wheels is able to finally put some effect on this Team Granley roster. Here in the Search and Destroy, clutches up in a 2v1 there to give them their first round on the board. And that one at least starts to feel a bit good. It's kind of feeling like the hard point was. There was a bit of an opportunity that looked like a comeback could start to mount, but was shut down quite quickly. They were able to take the raid boss out of the picture, at least early on here. Can they do it again? That's going to be the real question. Is this a ribbon cheese?
There's only like 5 people in between both broadcast and in chat that probably will laugh at that. I am one of them. It might be. It might be. Timing through the alleyway here. Stuns, nades, doesn't matter. Freak for first.
Feels in the challenge on out. Hit fire good. Lines up 2. Granley another. Diff last one alive. Was able to get some shots onto the back-ended Wheels. As he gets back in safe harbor with the rest of his teammates. Still a lot of time left here in the round, and finally Team Granley will find themselves a second round. That's back-to-back good team rounds out of Team Granley that allow them to get at least a bit closer to that 4-round lead that the Diff roster built for themselves.
Okay, and it's all thanks to Wheels, right? I mean, I want to say besides maybe, what, like round 2, nobody's really been challenging over towards the radio tower side. So Wheels exploits that. He gets across the top barbecue catwalk side and able to get inside top administration and find some really good timing to get behind enemy lines all off of that first blood. Finds the trade plus an extra and the collapse soon to follow. Wheels up to double pause. 4 in a row. 2 rounds on the board.
Wheels has been the bright star for Team Granley here. Pushing up with dead silence, trying to get aggressive up the ladder. Hasn't checked many things out. KB falls. Diff is able to find one. So it's a good technical trade on the opposite end. So lots of time to play with here in the round. Crazy has the bomb, has worked his way up all the way into the opposition spawn side. Freak from behind. Granley gets good shots. 3 streak for him now. And as Diff finds yet another here in the round. 2 versus 2.
That silence pop. Gotta make a move here. Now he just busts through the opening door. There's a player inside the lockers. Granley's gonna be able to find the trade. Now 1v1. Diff has the dead silence advantage. Bomb being planted today.
They've killed Riven 3 times. Now it's time for a Queen's Walk. Can Granley Open the door on success here as Diff is slowly starting to march his way forward. Playing around kegs. Has dead silence, but now it runs out. Semtech's going to be invested. Hits him and gets him out of the corner. Diff, Gramley, 1 versus 1 shall, but Diff is able to win it. Gramley will fall to the depths. And as quickly as it looked like Team Gramley might have made their comeback known and been within a round of being able to tie this back up like it was at 0-0, Team Diff closes the door on what would have been a wonderful walk into the sunset.
Just can't even with you. Like, the Last Wish references? Come on, man.
My bad. I'm looking to be the Apex Predator. Sorry.
Oh my god. It's the first match, man. Holy. It's good. It's going to be a long till to give you day. Word to Twitter. Now up on map point. Team Diff to take a 2-0 lead, and you really do feel like if they win this round, this is probably going to be the entire series because we've got a respawn going in for map number 3, but we'll have to see how this round plays out. Immediately going up top, all of Team Gramley swarming around the A-bomb.
Chase killed. Wheels through the back line yet again. This is something that's become a common trend these last few rounds, and although KB is able to clean up one there, Team Diff has let Team Gramley get through their backside and hit them from behind pretty much recklessly. As much as they'd like to. KB wins the gunfight up close, escapes to the staircase, somehow gets around the corner. Now Minty's last alive in a 1 versus 1, wasn't able to get the trade.
Oh, the dead silence reset off of it as well. I mean, I'm pretty sure that Wheels got like, what would you reckon, like the first 4 bullets in that gunfight, and KB still wins it. That silence will be exhausted. Bomb will be planted at B. The question is, what utility does Minty honestly have to play with? I'd reckon not much at all.
I mean, Minty didn't see the cross out either, and now KB is going to be able to get some good timing, but Minty!
Word.
That's a Vaznev, by the way! Headshot multiplier go brazy. Round 1, and the search and destroy continues.
He's doing pirouettes. Oh my. I mean, well, what should have been a clear-cut round win. I still can't believe Minty didn't even get there to be able to find that trade. Watch the cross nonetheless. Absolutely eviscerates him off of that truck underneath it. I mean, there's just, what, mere pixels that you could even see underneath there. Headshot multiplier do go bear. Staying alive in the search and destroy. Still trailing by 2, though. Need to play damn near perfection here. Getting on with our pop culture references. Bomb's going to be dropped inside of Billiards. Team Diff taking a very forward approach here defensively.
It's like an episode of The Office. Red Chase looks for Wheels. Shot, good. Up to 11 now in the search and destroy. Streak going to be called in. Cruise missile over the top, wanting to end things here. Put away this Team Gramley roster here on the search and destroy. Information garnered. Kill not going to come through, but regardless, it's pushed Team Gramley back into a corner. Team Diff now starting to make their way up the map. They have the aggression. Will it pay out for them? Does Freak get too aggressive here? Answer, yes. Doesn't check his left side corner. When he pops to the doorway, Crazy's able to make him pay for it. 3 versus 3.
Chase just popped that silence and moved about 4 inches in the same spot. Nice.
Big distance.
Yeah, honestly. Could be a country mile. They still have to try to assault this A-bomb site, and Red Chase just plays the couch, finds the first. Gramley tries to swing for the trade. It's 2 players wide, and now Minty, 1v3.
Was Mr. Consistent in the hard point. Can he clutch up here yet again in the search and destroy to stay things alive? Answer no. KB puts him down. Team Diff, 6 rounds, first there. 2-0 advantage inside of the best of 5 series. A control away from being able to put Team Gramley down in groups early on. 1 step closer to being able to walk into the bracket.
I think the pace was just set, well, within like the first 20 seconds of the search and destroy. I mean, we get on with a defense for Team Diff. What are they doing? About 3, maybe 4 players stacked through the middle of the map and just ran over Team Gramley. The only time when they finally found themselves around was off of just a well-timed flank to come through from at least a handful of players. But, I mean, just the adaptations were never there. And that's just the overall suppression that you expect out from Team Diff, especially with how handily they were able to win that map number 1. They understood their homework, Alex. They completely understood they had the better gunnies. They understood that they completely outpaced their opponents, and they completely exploited that here to take a 2-0 lead in the series.
Well, look, I'll say this. Newberry made a hell of a decision being able to pick up Red Chase to add to this 4-man roster.
True.
Now, he went absolutely buck wild in that search and destroy there. And I get to relive all the glory yet again here. Again, shaky shots there, but was able to make quick work of the second and the third here in the same round. And well, made up for it as such. Loses aim assist through the bar, still doesn't matter. Was able to get 11 throughout the entirety of the search and destroy, but Team Granley, give them credit for where credit is due. They were able to bring it back in the middle portion of this game. Were able to get 3 on the board and what looked like could have been a 4th until, of course, KB and Red Chase held down the A room like their lives depended on it. A rubber room, perhaps you could say.
Oh my.
A rubber room with rats, maybe?
I was crazy once.
They locked me in a room.
I hate it here.
A rubber room. Rubber room with rats. Rats make me crazy.
Rats make me crazy. Crazy?
Crazy.
Dude, this read on Minty was actually crazy, though. I mean, just completely just destroys him. And I felt like that might have been the turning page, but Red Chase 11-4 calls it the streak. But he even finds 2 more kills there. Finishes like what? Like 13-4? No, he doesn't find the last one. 12-4 casual stuff out of Red Chase. Again, continuing on with how well he's been playing ever since he bounced on the scene back in CCL. Quite the integral player. Back on Concord Maroon back in MW 2019. About 1,400 damage for Red Chase, 12-4. Is there anything this kid can't do?
Maybe that's a bit too far. I'm not going to go there. All right.
That's
well,
good take.
We'll joke about him during our break when it comes up here in a second. But just looking at everybody else here in the lobby, you know, 4 and 8 from Crazy and Minty respectively. There was one point where Crazy did have a donut watch going for himself. Was able to turn that around as Team Granley was trying to attempt at making a comeback stab at Team Diff, but unfortunately it did fall short. So did their hard point comeback operation. Was a 100-point club inside of that first map. So series so far hasn't been the closest, but Team Diff certainly putting their name to good use here as they have a 2-0 lead on this Team Granley roster. When we come back from a break, it's going to be a map number 3, a control on, you guessed it, Hotel for the second time in this series. We'll see if Team Granley can push it any further. If not, well, it'll be a quick 3-0 sweep, and Team Diff will have a 1-0 lead inside of their group. We'll be back just a bit. Back like we never left. It's to myself and Proper Casts again here for the College COD Alumni $1,000. Okay, my bad, I can't do that. Team Diff up 2-0. Team Granley has not looked too hot inside of the first 2 maps, but that looks to change here on a hotel control in map 3. Is this the catalyst that they need to bring this series back, or will it be the dips of despair where Team Diff is looking to go up 1-0, not only across the board within their group, but just getting one step closer to making it into the bracket stage later on today?
Probably not, but I love to be proven wrong. Yeah, I mean, the score lines kind of speak for themselves, right? Like, it's been a slam show in between, like, the triage that is Team Diff of Newberry's Pass plus Red Chase. And yeah, they look pretty good. That's all I really got to say about that. They are quite literally running and gunning. The one round, that final round number 9 that we got on LSU, the Search and Destroy, where Team Diff in red, they were forced to play a little bit more fundamental, completely outclassed. There was just no trades to speak of. And speaking of trades, this is a game mode that not only has to be surmounted by a fantastic opening break, but you also have to be able to find those trades. Numbers are everything if you want to try to take a round offense or defense alike when it comes down to Greenberg Hotel Control.
We'll see what happens. Team Granley need 3 rounds here and out of this control. If they want to see the light of day of a map 4, Wheels will open up with 1, but Red Chase gets a good trade. KB will be all the way pushed up just enough. And that's crazy. That was crazy once. Sat in a corner down below inside of the long hallway by the garage. KB will sit in the corner. Team Diff will be on the control point of B first. Looking for that first Dick Frog win.
I mean, they're still here. I mean, the rotation comes through from Team Granley, but they don't clear out D1. KP's still alive. This is his first life, by the way. Freak is here off the respawn. 2 players strong here by the B control zone. You got to make a decision. And that decision for Team Granley is that they're going to have to chalk this. I mean, you're a little bit too late here. Minty off the nade. He's going to be able to take down Diff. KB tracks down Wheels. 3rd segment of progression. Almost locked in. The kills come through just in the nick of time. Team Granley will hold on, even by Mustachio's hair here at B.
Still have no idea what the last one is. However, they will go ahead, finally walk away with a kill there towards the end. That will allow them to start moving their way forward. As KB is looking for 1, Diff going to be in towards the middle. Long range shots as the rest of the team starting to make their way up. But the A zone now starting to be progressed on the opposite side. 42 seconds left in the round here. An extra 60 waiting for A or B to be completed. And Team Granley really haven't made a decision on where they want to go ahead and hold their residence down.
All right, Wheels. All right, Wheels. Oh, okay. Opens up Granley to be able to find that trade, but Wheels was really putting a solid argument to try to get himself up on a spree. But nonetheless, that third segment looking pretty darn juicy right now for Team Diff. They're going to be able to soak that bad boy up. 12 plays up against 16. Team Granley actually do have the numbers, but it's just 2 total segments that Team Diff need to be able to take this opening round.
See Granley playing inside of Jewelry, waiting for anybody to get too aggressive through the spawn side of where the defense is going to be residing at the moment. Freak gonna be there. Minty, first shot's good. KB, trade immediately. 1-to-1 back and forth we go. 4 Live still favors the defensive side. Granley looking for Red Chase, but Red Chase will put him down. Tack in hand makes quick work of 1. Crazy onto KB, finds a kill. Still a 4 life advantage here. Holding it steady as ever. The team kill there, gonna force things back for a moment. B-zone being progressed, but Diff gonna be forced to back off as the spawns. Team Diff on offense back to say.
I mean, look, you got double the amount of lives for Team Granley. This is a really good look for them to be able to hold off on this last segment of progression over by B. But we've talked about this so many times. It just takes one good push, one good clear is all Team Diff need. The biggest issue is they only have a single respawn to work with.
One good solid hit. Wheels going to be looking up the ladder. KB needs to be very careful. He wants to hit this. Semtech's going to force Wheels to back off. Has information on where 1 is, and now they can start collapsing on this player who's up on top of the bedroom. Diff walks away with Wheels. Now 2 down. 1 gets traded in the opposite way. Now make it 2. 3-2 trade. Allows Team Diff still to be here with 2, but it's only going to be Granley who has 1 player left alive here. Stack on the zone starting. Spawn side ripped off. 1 versus 8 now here for Freak as he's able to find 1. Potentially could start to walk away here. Second one goes his way. Looks back over towards the lobby side, but doesn't realize they're coming through the top of the bedroom as well as over towards the middle of the map, but he's already able to walk away with 3. Still doable here. Still very improbable with only 10 seconds left, but he finds a 4th one to tack along with it. Crazy back over towards the zone. Tack in hand now. Jumps across back over towards the point and what looked like it could have been the work of a miracle. Team Granley will walk away with the defensive round.
I mean, I was ready to go there for a second. That was about, I don't know, maybe what would you reckon, like half a second away from the regen, and he could probably end up taking that gunfight over by the Eldas. Would have been a 1v2 there, but I mean, the way he was just schmoving and grooving as far as that last player was alive for Team Diff. It will be Team Granley that hold on even by just a wee bit. Again, that B zone was at 99.99%. The only thing that's a higher percent is Lysol killing germs, but Team Granley will hold on with the defensive win.
I'm so glad we were thinking the same thing there. Crazy, making his way up through Wine. Red Chase will back all the way off. Challenges around that left side corner. On offense here, though, Team Granley will opt to go over towards A here first. Crazy takes care of Red Chase. And now Team Diff will be back to the respawn side. 3 players here in the blue. Now making their way back over inside of Wine is 1, but Crazy will knock him down yet again. That's another quick double. And Team Diff, they don't want to push this. They kind of have been like, all right, we're going to counter losses here. We're just going to sit by B. We're going to wait. Play the spawn side. It's going to be a long 2 minutes here as Granley cap A.
I don't even know how to follow that. Like, wait, what did you just do?
I mean,
all right, yeah, fair. A-zone's captured. Team Granley have only lost 2 lives as I try to regain myself mentally, spiritually. In other words, but got bedroom control. Red Chase down low is not going to really expect that push to come from behind. Freak needs to be able to find these trades. Walks away with 1.
Starting to turn around, though, here in the slaying column has been Team Granley. Quite a stark difference from maps 1 and 2. But it's very much needed if they want to keep this series alive. Continue to trudge forward through the mud that they've worked themselves into. Minty, kill up the map. 9 and 11 here early on. 3 lives separate each team. Offense now has the advantage. That clock has slowly started to dwindle back down. They had an extra 60 seconds added towards it. Unfortunately, though, that 60 seconds has long passed. And a minute 15 to work with over at B.
Time has been really well exhausted, honestly. And it's just the trade game. I mean, Red Chase walks away with 5 in a row. Somehow, some way. Just wills it back into existence. Now just under a minute. Live just about even off of the Herculean opening rip here from Team Granley. Reche is going to get cut down before you can find that 6 kill. So no streaks have been earned, but I mean, that is just a consolation prize when we're looking at it from Team Granley's perspective. They have so much map to clear and running out of time to do it.
Freak trying to rekindle what he had
way.
early on inside of map 1. The hard point on this map was fantastic. He led the way early on until the rest of the team was able to make themselves and their presence felt towards the end of it. 30 seconds left now here in the round. 2 lives separate the teams. Defense has the advantage on top. Trade there immediately, but it's a 2-1 that favors the side of Team Diff. Now a third goes their way as well. Red in the kill feed. Minty, the last one alive, and he gets knocked down. 15 seconds left. It's just going to be a sprint back over towards B, but I don't know if there's going to be enough time here for Team Granley.
Oh, I mean, their last push, they were trying to flip the map. That takes about a solid 30 seconds to try to find success in doing so, and even when you try to come back through the atrium, you get ripped to shreds. Oh my God!
Sweet, peaceful, and sexy as they go down. Defense, we handshake here in the early rounds of this control. But my word, what a stand there from Team Diff after that A zone was completed. B, not even a sniff. Team Granley was able to get on it.
And that was off of, what, their opening rip. They were able to get over towards the A control zone. And this is where I go back and we had that conversation about when Team Diff are forced to play fundamentally strong, they're more than obliged to do so. It's a combined 13 spree in between all of Team Red at the end of that second round. A 2-segment lead here for Team Diff as they go back over towards offense.
The last time it was a B hit. This time they'll fly everybody over towards AKB. Beautiful gunfight there on a Granley. The team nade there hinders things just for a bit. Not able to push as aggressively as they would have liked in towards A. Freak 2, Shiesty out the back door. 6 in a row for him. Diff is able to pair for 2. 3 lives taken off in terms of the difference. Now as they can lay down here on A, Team Granley going to basically be forced to make the same decision Team Diff was the last time around. Gotta give up A.
9 spree for Diff. Kill streak has been earned. Wheels down low over by the L desk. We'll end up at least finding that trade, but on a moment's too late. It's a 4-life lead for Team Diff. 60 seconds has been added to the board. As you say, you got to chalk, and you got to try to set yourself up over for this B defense. The only player that's really in a position to try to have a little bit more of a blockade will be player number 6. Wheels gets found out, gets immediately traded out by KB. There needs to be the trades in towards the back. Minty's going to be able to go back to his ways here on the hotel hardpoint, what we saw on map number 1 here for the control. Mr. Two-Piece does it again. Going to be able to draw the line in the sand. Team Granley have reset the map.
I mean, the big difference in this map for at least the first round and a half until the back half of second round was that Team Granley, their guns were hot. They were winning the majority of their engagements. They finally felt comfortable in the slaying department, and then things started to take a turn for the worse there towards the end of that last round, especially in the early portions of this round. They were able to get that A zone, but very much as Team Diff did the last time on defense, Team Granley this time has been able to hold strong here over towards this B zone. They've drained that clock down. The 60 seconds that Team Diff earned for themselves basically negated already. Sure, they've got a small bit of progress in that first tick on B, but for the large part, Minty's been able to tee up. Everybody else on Team Granley has forced Team Diff back to their spawn side, and this has been a very strong defensive showing in the latter halves.
And the way that Team Granley just spawned back in, all of Team Diff are spawning in effectively over by kitchen, so nobody's going to take the moment's time to try to clear inside a bedroom. That allows Wheels to reposition themselves inside said position. Bottom bedroom is where they will reside. And Team Diff, albeit having a couple players pushed up, they haven't been able to find themselves a convincing kill feed. Finally, some moments for Team Diff to start pushing a little bit further forward. They're on the zone.
I mean, effectively, though, Team Diff, they're stuck right now. In the middle of the map, sure, they can make it their domain, but with only a 2-life advantage right now, they're still going to have to try and force out the spawn side of Granley, who can now just play a bit more passive. You know, you still have your win condition of Wheels in the backside. A flank is always going to be there in a pinch play. Immediately set up for yourselves. All you're forcing Team Diff to do is try to come off the spawn side and maybe catch them off guard. These last 25 seconds are just going to be a time game with Wheels pushing out spawn.
20 seconds remain. 9 points up against 9. There's not enough time to be able to end this via kills. You got to try to get yourself on that zone. Freaky's going to be that player to maybe try to make that play, pushing up all the way further forward. Granley Minty still playing top bed, by the way. Freak over by P4 will get found out. Team Diff kind of reeling here. It just comes down to the team captain itself of Diff. Will's going to be able to cut him down. Team Granley pushing to another round once again.
And that's just gorgeous. All the way towards the end there from Team Granley. You don't have the majority of the kills going your way through most of this round. Team Diff always had the advantage on you. You started to bring it back slowly at the end, but again, you made a great point. The spawns that they blocked all the way out over by the kitchen allowed Wheels to stay alive. Nobody checked top bedroom, and by the time it was too late, you had 30 seconds left in the round. They were pushing back over towards the zone, and Wheels just had to play time there. Worked out perfectly for Team Granley, and now they enjoy themselves a nice, comfortable 2-1 lead inside of this control with an opportunity to take their first map inside of the series.
Still trailing by segments, though. Got to keep that in mind off of the 5 segments that Team Diff were able to accrue in that opening round. Need a response here coming through from Team Granley, and I love this call. Don't play with your food. Wheels up on a 3 spree from the previous round. Just going to play in the middle of the map. Gets overwhelmed. Pinch from 2 different sides. But Team Granley are here on the A zone. They're trying to stack it quickly for this early 60 seconds as Crazy pushes forward over by the host stand. Got to be able to lock down 2 more kills. That should be the A zone. It's chalk. Unless Freak can make a massive play, and he will deliver on the goods. He's able to find 2. Has a good look for the 3rd. Sure, why not? Picks up an AR to boot.
Diff, while that was happening, was able to stop them, at least slow them down over by the kitchen side. It's a difficult gunfight there from Freak, but now not only do you take a few more lines off the board of this Team Granley roster, but you allow the reinforcements to push back over towards this A site yet again here on defense if you want to go ahead and try to hit one more time. Diff maybe a bit aggressive there, was able to find one, can't find the second. Granley puts him down. B zone is all that stands within Team Granley, and it's not really a map win for the first time. But Andy, it's going to be difficult. The last time they tried to get back over towards B, Team Diff didn't allow them to sniff that point just once.
All off of the forward positioning that needs to be taken from Team Diff. You got Red Chase, he's playing bottom luggage. You got Freak, he's playing bottom bed. So that's going to be your forward positioning. Granley was trying to overextend, maybe try to get himself inside a spawn, maybe find a couple of spawn kills. Unsuccessful in doing just that. Now it's up to Crazy. He needs to try to time this along with his teammates, so he's just going to play his life inside a chandelier, maybe try to make this play from behind happen.
Slowly, trying to work your way forward. Maybe allow Team Diff to think you're just trying to hit this through the front and through the middle of the map. Right now, that's where all the attention has been made. 3 players from Team Granley, though, trying to make sure that they can clear out the bedroom before they start pushing over on towards the zone. Crazy in the back line is able to pick up Diff, but the spawns are still going to be relatively close, and KB's there for 1. Trades go immediately back and forth for each side. On the zone, though, it is going to be Minty stopping the clock. 57 seconds. For middle map, though, KB is there, and will cut down all the Team Granley players out. Not only the spawn side, but from that middle of the map basically onwards towards the defensive end. Someone has disconnected on the side of Team Diff. 3 versus 4 here. They'll play out through the rest of this round.
Yep, we'll have to see how it all kind of concludes here. 16 plays up against 12. Now, Team Diff can absolutely still hold on to this. Diff is all the way pushed up. He still has that cruise missile in his back pocket if he wants to use it. We'll have to see if that's going to be the call, whether or not. Freak, by the way, also kind of DC'd with the cruise missile in his back pocket. 2 kills come through. 3 players strong. Now 4 over towards the B zone. It's gone. It's done. Yep. And that'll be that. All right.
All right.
Hey, what do we do? That's Son of Pain on Twitter, everybody. Trying to figure out what's going to happen next.
Looks like we might need another Axe of the Admin to come out here soon. It's like the Treaty of Versailles, really. Honestly, it has the same impact globally. Surely. But all right, well, at least right now, as it stands, Team Granley have technically secured themselves their first map win of this best of 5 series. Now, that would say, if everybody was still in the lobby and that had concluded the way it would have, with Freak was still in the lobby, a map 4. Unfortunately, we have no clue. And as Sport was saying, oh, it's going to be a great day. We're going to end on time today. It's going to be fun. It's going to be awesome. Thank you so much for jinxing that. We appreciate you so much. Shout out to you. Big love. LOL. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, what Squid is saying is that first point was capped already. It is confirmed to be playing through. So it's a map win. We're going to a map number 4 here, brother. It sucks to suck, but it's just the world that we live in. So we will continue on with this series in between Team Granley versus Team Diff. Again, out for that hotel control. Honestly speaking, the way that it was being played out, I mean, yeah, you had 2 cruise missiles. I'm sure that there was a certain amount of confusion when it came down to those final few moments, specifically for Team Diff's side. Again, they had those cruise missiles to be able to call it in. You heard one kind of looming in the distance as soon as that 3rd segment was already about 75% captured, but just a moment's too late there to be able to stop that stack. Nonetheless, it will be a map number 3 win for the FGCU's pass here for Team Granley. You take a look at some of these different highlights. It was a great map number 3. Again, Team Granley really came into their own. They were going tit for tat. They were slaying the hell out. Wheels were able to at least come alive here. It was that play in particular that really kind of made the argument for me, albeit here in this opening round here. I thought that Team Diff should have honestly had that B control zone. Nice timely kill, stops that third segment from being capped all the way over. And then we were going blow for blow, round for round. But nonetheless, as the ruling does stand, Team Grambly were able to stand up top, and they were going to be able to take that map number 3.
Well, if you're Team Grambly, you can shout out at Freak's dog for that map win. The dog ripped out the router. Yeah, true story.
That's why cats are better.
Okay.
Just gonna say it.
Well, is a cat gonna come over
my
and
cat
give
would
you
never.
big cuddles? And is
Yeah,
it gonna
no, he
is it gonna run up to you with its tail wagging in a wet mouth as soon as you get home and go?
I'll have you know, albeit besides that last part, my cat is always very excited when I come home from like long trips and stuff. Like when I got back from champs, my cat was my shadow. He still is. Like, I mean, he's actually sitting right next to me right now. Like, he's just chilling. Everywhere that I go, he just loves to be by my side. He gives the best cuddles as well. Don't sleep on cats, man, because they're already asleep. Nonetheless, here are the stats of what we were able to accrue, all off of Freak's dog trying to push the advantage for Team Grambly. We found the imposter, everybody. Got to be pushing to a map number 4.
You know, Son of Paint said that his cat eats his cables.
Yeah, that's a skill diff, though. My cat doesn't do that.
That definitely is a skill diff for sure. Son of Paint, L as always. Hashtag link in the chat, guys. Regardless, though, yeah, second map, maybe some fun, but that third map, I don't think anybody expected it to go the way that it did. Team Diff, maybe their kryptonite is control, maybe it's a hotel control, or maybe, again, it's just a dog.
I think it's just the latter, brother. I'm not gonna lie. I think it's the dog diff, 100%. Team Grambly paid off that dog in treats for sure.
St. Clair has a griff diff, and Team Diff has a dog diff. Yeah, cool. Well, we're guaranteed to map 4 now. We will be going to a fortress for a hard point. If it's anything like we saw on map 1, it'll probably be over pretty quickly, especially with how Fortress is able to spiral out of control. If it's anything like we saw on the control, though, for map 3, and Team Grambly has finally come to their senses, and we get another dog diff, well, maybe we'll be going to a hotel search and destroy for map number 5. It's things that have yet to be seen, and I guess now there's otherworldly forces that are going to be at play inside of the series, for better or for worse for each of these teams. But now that we have a bit of fun out on the table, hell, I'm up for anything except for cats.
You just never met a good cat, man, and it shows. And it shows, dude. It really does. You honestly need to meet Pino. My cat is an absolute treat. He's a riot. But nonetheless, yeah. I mean, this Fortress Hardpoint. Look, I mean, if there's anything to really kind of devolve away from how these first 3 maps went, if you want to honestly call it that, I mean, map number 1, absolute blitzkrieg coming out from Team Diff. Again, it felt like that maybe they warmed up their gunnies. Team Grambly just probably rolled out of bed and probably just started playing their games. But, I mean, nonetheless, it felt like that they were kind of coming into their own there throughout the entirety of the search and destroy, really starting to get their gunnies hot. And then it was the continuation there, at least through the opening few rounds that we got to see in a 4v4 fashion for that Greenberg Hotel map number 3. That, honestly speaking, going in towards a Fortress Hardpoint, again, a map that, as you say, can truly spiral out of control. Not only do you need to be careful, but your gunnies do need to be hot. You cannot afford to get a 100-point club, because if you do, honestly, then you're not going to make the double elimination bracket.
Yeah. I'm just wondering who called in Scott Foster and Tim Donaghy to comment or to referee these last few matches, because well, we not only do we have the extender, but the most corrupt referee in terms of a dick. All right. I think we beat that horse enough. Dead horse enough. Well, I feel like we can get a few more dogs up. Regardless, though, regardless, though, yeah, no, I think I think it's going to come down to a few key things. One, does Team Grambly remember how to rotate? 2, does Team Grambly remember how to shoot their guns straight? And we got to see a good glimpse of that in the control. And I love the way you stare at the camera like that. Like, it's
my job, man. Like, I'm looking at my camera's lens. Now, whether or not you read that as me staring into your soul is completely up to you, brother. That's up to you.
Yeah, that's how I read it. I know.
Stop. I can't take you seriously. I Can't like this guy comes out, he starts dropping all these different references, pop culture, Destiny 2. Is there anything that
I'm sorry, man.
Can't come off the cuff with? Like, it's just absolutely absurd. Who let this happen?
I don't know. Son of pain. Or was it?
Assuming that everybody's lobbying up. Let me take a look at this team chat. Yeah, they're good to start.
I'm wondering if the router's still offline.
I want to know like how that dog even has access to be able to unplug a router, much less being able to do it. Also, what kind of dog is it? How old is it? Like belly rubs? These are all the questions that I need to know as an animal behavioralist. I
do.
Who doesn't, honestly? Like,
is that a bad thing?
Okay, no, it's not. No, I just was not prepared for it.
just lay on my stomach, just get a little belly rub. I'll start
it's like in that shirt with that plushie behind you, like those LED lights with all those posters.
It's not a plushie, like, bro. You're gonna put some respect on Pachita, bro.
I don't even know what that is, brother. Is that a golf reference? Because I don't know.
Okay, bro. Pro golfer, pro racer, pro caster, by the way. Proper cast, by the way.
Hi. I'm proper.
A jack of all trades, so to speak. Gorgeous, by the way.
Sometimes. For 4 hours of sleep and a nice hot shower. I've actually made a really solid omelet this morning, too. Like, I'm feeling rejuvenated.
Wait, you made eggs, too? No cap.
Oh, yeah.
Should it do straight to doggy?
I know your diet is pretty restricted off of things that you can't fully chew, but yeah. Nonetheless, let's get into this map number 4 or we get in trouble.
Jump around the corner. Granley, first blood on the board. However, it's met with 2 players from the side of the team Diff of red. Granley, Minty, back over towards the point. P1 still there. Okay. With a little refresh, rerun, KB, double, Diff 1.
Alex, you remember how the map number 1 went? It started off with Team Diff getting about 40 to 50 seconds off P1. Now, that won't happen because there's just simply not enough time left inside of P1, but Team Granley are making the right call. Instead of trying to, make the decision of staying inside of the spawn trap, they actually hit all the way through Blacksmith. They're flooding inside past the gallows. That forces Red Chase to spawn out, and whether or not they were aware of that, it doesn't matter because Diff locked things down, finds a nice little team.
Crazy will be forced all the way back. Good shots, helps out with Wheels, is able to find one. Ooh, an aggressive, maybe overzealous gunfight at that point, but there's still 1 on the rotation for Team Diff, and it is Diff at 4 in a row. Waiting for the rest of the teammates to get back over towards the point. First 10 seconds go the way of red. Now a pinch starting to come in through the way of Granley in the back line. Minty was able to find 1. Wheels there, but it's a 3-to-1 trade, though, that allows the blue arrows to still make their way forward. Somehow Diff has stayed alive inside of the point, but will finally come to his demise. However, there is utility now earned for Team Diff as the streak has been earned.
6-1. Casual start out of Diff. Was that confirmed? Is he on score streaks? Because I saw Red Chase playing score streaks in Search and Destroy, and it really aggravated me. Freak 2 Shiesty going to be able to push his way all the way through the double arches, and it's a really good call coming through from our observers just to be able to show just that. The simple fact that Diff not only being able to soak up more time off of that 6 spree, looking pretty darn skippy for himself. Team Granley have numbers over here, by the way, but they just got to be able to win the gunfights. For crying out loud, someone look up top maps. Someone needs to clear Red Chase. Minty next up to bat, trying to clear him out. Surely Red Chase is dead to rights. He absolutely will be. Those are the kills that you need to find for Team Granley. You know, soak up time here at 3.
And I'm sure Red Chase probably thought he had a few more teammates coming in flying, trying to flood through that double doors over towards open. But the good news is that those players from Team Diff have been able to make their way through the south side of the map, wrap through the spawn side, and now have gotten themselves locked down inside of P3. Shots over the top are going to be good, and it's an all-red flood that has made its way forward. And now Team Granley going to be reeling on the back line. Minty, the last one here, will finally find himself in a demise. I mean, really, realistically, the spawns in the middle of the map are going to be cool here, but you're just going to basically have to give up all of P3 and hope that you can play towards the bottom of our Navy maps to try and get something good, but freaky. Pretty little double.
That's just... How? How has Team Diff been able to break inside one of the highest percentage held hard points all the way up to the CDL level that easily? I know I'm comparing apples to oranges here. This is a glorified 8s lobby, but nonetheless, I mean, you just can't let that happen. It's 108 to 45. Wheels is able to at least spin onto 3 players in a row. And this is where you have to draw the line in the sand. You need to turn P4 into a majority of time.
He knocked off that headshot multi too from that tack, but as Red Chase gets cut down from behind, Wheels now almost made it 5 in a row. Rat's getting too powerful as KB's trying to make his way back in towards the bottom of that art. Mitzi turns the middle. Freak gonna be the next one up to challenge. Dog was a paid actor, by the way. He's up to 14 and 9. 5 seconds in the hill. Hasn't really paired too much with the rest of his team, but Diff has made up for that in plenty, and so has KB. Red Chase has now broken his way in. 20 seconds left to scrap time. Freaky trying to be on the rotation here once again, but it's Team Granley who are outside of the door, and Granley will walk away with a 1 versus 1 gunfight win. 4 in a row from Diff. Still has a streak to work with for a potential break, but he's up to 5 yet again. Might want to invest this here just in case he's able to start streaking again.
Crazy's gonna take him down, right? Crazy?
What?
Brother. He's still alive, and now he has a perfect angle. And the information from the cruise missile, his teammates spawn inside P3, and now Diff has himself a little bit of a pinch skis inside of munitions as well. Red Chase able to find 2 inside of munitions itself. I mean, he is going on pace to potentially not only lap his streaks, but to be able to get himself yet another one.
And that one just hurts there too, because, like, you know, if Crazy was able to find him as he wrapped back through P4, you know, that very easily could have been all Team Granley inside of this hard point, trying to just spawn trap Team Diff all the way back over by P3. Instead, he's able to stay alive. Diff is able to make work, allows his teammates an opportunity to push their way forward by getting Wheels outside of the hard point. Contention wasn't there, and well, now instead of it being what could have been maybe a 20-30 point game, is about a 70 point game. So GG go next, and by next I mean the next hard point is Team Granley once again just trying to get themselves back to a point where they can get over 100 points. Weren't able to do in map 1.
Inside of the time though, early, Red Chase put on skates, didn't know which way to look, knowing that he had to at least be eventually try to contest inside P1. Gunfight still being won. 2-for-1 trade goes the kill feed. KB, last player inside the truck, gets the read, doesn't win the opening gunfight, but Freak is there to be able to find not only his 18th kill, but to be able to open up the hard point to be vacated. North to south spawns starting to ensue here. And again, this is the continuation of what we had over by the Greenberg Hotel map number 1. Team Diff can afford to be playing this scrappy. I mean, they can play for the future over by P2. They can allow all this time to go for Team Granley, as they have the back area over by Gallows. Are they going to expect for players to already be there, however, as they're still fighting for the old time, which might be a mistake, but nonetheless, KB is going to be able to find 2 and soak up 10 seconds at that.
Yeah, but Red Chase hasn't pushed out yet, and the second that Red Chase does, Diff should be able to break his way in towards the hill. But as Granley snaps back around, Red Chase isn't there, and Freak now has to push out inside from Art. But there's Red Chase, who was able to put him down. So Wheels now in the back line. Spawn's going to be close here. KB from the back lines with the Vaznev is going to be able to pick up 1, and his trades continue to favor the side of Team Diff. Granley went out trying to break on in. Contention there for a small second, but they have to force themselves to back off. Crazy now will try to hop back down and towards the middle of the map. Won't spot anything just yet. Waiting for reinforcements. Wheels opens up with 1. Freak is going to be there for a second, though. He pops 2. Tries to snap around to the 3rd.
Dude.
Good night. And now Minty, the last one alive, and oh, if Freak would have got that, I would have taken my shirt off and started sprinting around my room.
I believe that, actually. Team Diff, 192 to 110. Team Granley making this a lot more respectable than what the opening hardpoint looked like, but they need more. You got to try to push through and try to break inside P3 pretty darn early. But, I mean, just look at the setup. It's disgusting. Again, you're facing a core 3 from Newberry plus Red Chase, who's 20 and 12, by the way. You got to try to find the kills. Wheels doesn't have all the assistance in the world. He needs to play for the regen, does find the first up.
Wheels. Oh, he didn't spot Freak over towards the left side when he challenged out there. Through the railing, through the metal bars. He gets cut down by Freak. Diff is there as well. Now all they need to do is just wait. It was Red Chase who was able to accrue basically 3 minutes of hill time the last time through. This time, KV, well over 2 minutes now through the front. Pretty much everybody challenging from the exact same point. If they hold on to the entire time here, they'll be able to take map 4 and the series in tow. Red Chase, another kill. Granley there, trying to push their way forward in for a contestation. They'll finally get in towards the point. Freak is there, though. Wheels, next one up to challenge, but Freak on 5, almost snaps for 6. They'll have to go to another hard point here, at least. But Team Granley, they've got some work to do if they want to go ahead and force a map 5.
Yeah, I mean, look, Team Diff actually had an opportunity to try to close it out there on P3. You just needed to try to contest for a certain amount of time. They're able to do just that. But Team Diff, the kill feed, still glowing in red. It is bleeding McCormill, 233 and counting on up.
4 players around the zone. Team Granley starting to make their way forward. Red Chase, the first line of defense, is able to find one. The security system, a NordVPN around the zone on the opposite end. Is Freak 2 Shiesty is there for 2. 3 seconds left. Contention through the front. A foot race back over towards the point. They won't get there. Team Granley can't hold on. And as Team Diff is able to win map 4, they go through a dog and plugging a router in map 3 to be able to take the series and find themselves up 1-0 in their group.
Yep. I mean, look, the imposter only is able to be there for at least 1 round of control, does not come back in for the Fortress hardpoint, and man, really did feel like the things were going to be a little bit more close. I mean, how do you even try to compute dealing with Freak? That the way that he started off that map and just continued on 31 and 18 is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody from Team Diff, again, core 3 from Newberry plus Red Chase, are just not only slaying out, but we asked the question very early on, what are teams going to look like when they're forced to play fundamentally sound? And again, Team Diff were more than obliged. As we go through a lot of these highlights, it will be a Diff and Freak 2 Shiesty highlight reel, as Diff was able to go 6-0 early in his first life, was able to get that cruise missile, pops active camo as Crazy doesn't take him down going in towards P5, and has himself a nice little coordinated pinch. That was the moment of time right there in between P3 to P4 where Freak not only was able to find a 2-piece inside in the middle of the map, but the way that Team Diff were able to break inside of P3 off of Team Granley's initial setup was just too easy. And from that point on, it was just a continuation of what that team in red is spelled out to be. It's a Team Diff, baby.
And I genuinely think the turning point of this game, although it seemed like an insignificant play at the time, allowing Freak, or excuse me, Diff to stay alive when he popped the streak over by P2 inside of P5, and then that basically forced everybody else out. That allowed all the teammates to get back over there. When Wheels got taken out, it was 40 seconds of time that basically went for free to Team Diff, and Granley should have been able to pretty much lock all of that down for themselves if they would have gotten that P3 spawn trap on. So just by him not being spotted out there and being able to re-hit from the opposite side of where his team was, completely changed the impact that hill had on the game, and what would have been, again, like maybe a 20-point game at that point, and ended up getting out to about a 60-70 point lead for Team Diff. So you know, we could state a lot of things. Obviously the slaying department just simply not there. Nobody positive on the side of Team Granley, or relatively even close to that standpoint. But Team Diff from start to finish, at least in terms of hard points in the search and destroys, it wasn't a close series. That map 3, at least Team Granley was able to you know, come out the gates a bit harder, swing a bit better, but still it looked like pretty much Izzy Adesanya against anybody's fought.
Well, I wouldn't say anybody, but
I said almost anybody. Almost.
Okay, all right, okay, my bad, gangster. Wheels, though, I mean, shout out Wheels, man. Like he really did give his all. I mean, 18 non-trader for the 20 that he was able to find, almost 2,800 damage. It's still about 1,000 less than what Freak 2 Shiesty was able to put on the board. Get me wrong, 31 and 18 is absolutely mental. 24 and 17 for Red Chase, 28 and 11 for Diff, and KB. Somewhat positive, 18 and 14, but how about almost 3 minutes of OBJ time? And as he says there in the Twitch chat, he says he's got that hill. I would absolutely agree, brother. The dog was able to at least garner 1 map for Team Granley, but that, albeit, puts them to rest. Again, when it comes down to this format for the CCL Alumni 1K, you gotta try to go flawless in the groups. Team Diff will start off with the dub. Team Granley simply will not.
Yeah, and as things kind of tick down a little bit further towards what will be the elimination period in the later half of this day, where we start in towards bracket play. Right now, it's not looking too hot here for Team Granley. An 0-1 start pretty much is going to lock you out of bracket play, unless you can get a miracle tiebreaker situation where everybody in your group is 1-1 to happen and go your way. Probably not going to be too kind to you. Also, I will say this as well. You know, as much as we kind of, you know, we're praising Team Diff in this matchup here, their road is only going to get harder from here on out. Team Granley, sure, not the worst, not the best of the teams, but you still have a lot of very talented rosters to not only get through in your own group respectively, but through the bracket portion if you're able to make it out into that as well. So, great, you know, we'll sing their praises here for the first best of 5 series, and you know, it's nice to see them be able to kind of come together as a 3+1 roster, so to speak. but I do want to see how this is going to fare up against, some of the teams that they're going to have to play in the latter half of the day if they're able to make it out of the groups.
Again, as the tournament progresses, it will only get further difficult. Again, you have juggernauts in the rest of the groups that are left to be played as well. Let's not forget that old Dan Ghosty. He's back playing on the CCL team as well. That team is obviously, anybody that goes up against them is probably going to lose. I'll keep it $150 with you all, but nonetheless, you got to try your best to be able to get to that double elimination bracket. Groups are underway. You start off with a dub here for Team Diff. How far can you go?
Yeah, well, you called it a glorified 8s lobby pretty much at the end of that fortress. So when you're going up against Noisy and Co, well, good luck. That being said, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to have another best of 5 series up for you. I believe it's going to be Fiasco and Slow-Mo's rosters going up against one another. So we'll step aside. When we come back, another best of 5 up for you. We'll be back for the College COD Alumni 1K.